What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So today I got a Sony A7 III and also a Sony A7 IV. This is a comparison video between these two products right here. I have been using the A7 III ever since it first launched. It's still running great. It's still a beast of a camera. I have decided to upgrade it to an A7 IV. Well, I didn't decide. My wife actually gave me this as a gift. And so I'm so glad because there is a huge difference in what these does. And I want to walk through them a little bit in this video. I'm not going to be able to cover everything like the menu and everything, but I think I should be able to cover most of the things that you're looking at. So if you are coming from an A7 III and you're trying to figure out if you should get an A7 IV, or if you're one of those that are just getting into the Sony system and you're looking at the price point for the Sony A7 III versus A7 IV, and you're trying to figure out what are the best option for you, well, that's what's going to be in this video. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the physical differences between these two, okay? The appearance. So let's go ahead and put them side by side real quick here. So they have improved quite a bit on the button and the functionality of the camera itself. As you can see, the body pretty much stays the same. The grip here is a little bit longer, so it's going to be a little bit more comfortable for you if you care about that. But I find that the A7 III grip is just fine. It's big enough for my hand, so no problem for me there. They've rearranged some things, like the record button for video is on top here on the new camera versus the older camera is back here, which I didn't find that to be a problem at all. They've locked some things down. So you see this right here, there's actually a little button for you to press before you can make changes to this. And then you lock it back so that you don't accidentally hit it. That's an important feature, by the way. I find myself always like knocking my camera over, and then it would just slightly change this. So what happens is that I don't know about it until I actually gone back, import all my video into Final Cut, and then find out that it's too bright or it's too dark because I accidentally knocked this little thing right here. So really glad that they've added that in there. The other major important update is that they've changed this to where now video and photo is separated by this switch now. See that? On the A7 III, it's super confusing when you're just getting into A7 III or the Sony system, because video is this little tab right here, and then it also mixed in with a bunch of photo stuff. And then talking about customization with the 1 and the 2, it's really confusing going through the menu with photo and video all mixed into one. They also did upgrade it. So you see that there's 2 custom function here, 1 and 2 for A7 III. Now you have 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3, so that you can custom it however you want. So the way I work is that I usually would go to just a regular setting like this for 4K. So over here, I would have it on movie mode, which is 4K, and then I would flip over to number 1 for it to be 1080p at 120 FPS. So that's what I want to do over here, is that I'm going to flip over to number 1 right here, 1080p, 120 FPS, and then I'm just going to pop it over to aperture priority to shoot video, and it'll stay at 4K at probably 60. So anyway, that's the big difference right there. They've pretty much split video and photo now. So the other physical difference obviously is this little flippy screen right here. This is an important factor in video shooting, by the way. This little thing right here is really hard to use. Really hard to use for video. You almost need like an external monitor if you're doing a gimbal. So Sony has starting to move to this type of format right here, where the screen actually flip out sideways now, which is fantastic. I've been using this type of screen on my A7C and it makes a world of a difference. And so definitely get the A7 IV if you care about how the screen flips, because the A7 IV is fantastic with this whole flip out screen. One extra thing about the flip out screen here is that when I was shooting with the A7 III, I tend to leave it on all the time. So my switch is always going to be on the on position all the time. And so when I see something interesting, I hit the record button right away and then I stop recording. And then I just carry my camera around, right? Well, my camera stays on all the time and so it drains the battery. Even though I'm not recording, it drains the battery. Well, with the A7 IV, they've upgraded this brand new thing where if I open the screen, check this out, I have a battery in there right now, so let's go ahead and turn it on, and now you can see that it's on. Well, when I close the screen right here, it actually puts the camera to sleep. Those are the little things that I don't think they talk about in the spec, but from an experience standpoint, that's huge for me, because ever since I've been shooting with Sony, that's the one thing that hurts me the most, is that my battery runs out because I forget to flip the off switch. Well, now I don't have to flip the off switch. I just close this and it just turns on and turns off right away. It's that amazing. Yes, really nice. See that? That's a huge feature for me right there, guys. So next thing I want to talk about is the card slot. I really like the way A7 III did this door, where you guys just kind of pop that out. Okay, love it. This one right here, it's the same way pretty much. So I don't think there's a big winner on this one. I think A7 III did a good job with the card slot door, so I don't think there's a big difference there. Big upgrade for this one is that now you can do CF Express card slot, which I actually don't have any experience in it. I just know that it's a lot faster, but at the same time, it's a lot more expensive. So I'm staying away from that until the price goes down. Anyway, yeah, 2 card slots still. It takes, I think, XC2 card now, which is super fast. Both takes it, so no problem there. So one last thing about the body that they've changed up, which this is super minor. I mentioned this in my other video before. You see this right here? This little metal piece? Yeah, that metal piece right there. Well, it's kind of dangly. You see that? It's kind of dangly. Well, the issue there is that when I'm shooting video, that dangly, that metal clanking, will get into the audio when I'm shooting video, right? It'll picks it up. Well, they fixed that on the A7 IV. For some of you that are coming from A7 III, you know this is an important factor right here. Most of us just remove this little thing right here. Well, I still have mine on there because I like to use my Peak Design strap. So I left it on there, but most of the people that I talk to, they removed this little thing. Well, A7 IV, they fixed that. For some reason now, it just stays. I don't know what they've done differently. It looks exactly the same, but it just stays now. So it's no longer dangling anymore. Yeah, so that's a huge upgrade right there. That is so minor that you probably won't realize it until you've actually used the previous model. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the menu system. They've improved the menu system quite a bit. Literally, this is a whole different OS on this camera now, which I totally love, guys. You don't understand. Most Sony user, I'm going to tell you this right now, most new Sony users, when they come in to the older models, A7C, A7 III, even A7R4, things like that, the menu system is crazy. Crazy. I mentioned before where the video and the photo are all mixed in on this dial right here. And so what you don't know is that depending on what you select, the menu turns off and on certain things, but it's still there. So it clogs up the entire menu system. Well, what Sony has done is they've made that change. And so with this whole selection of photo or video knob right here, well, that changes the menu within the A7 IV. And so it's a lot more simpler if you're just brand new to the Sony system. Totally recommend you getting the A7 IV just because of that, because most people will spend about a weekend just learning everything that's in the menu in the old camera. All right, so you can see that video is selected right there. You see that little video icon. So let's say if I were to flip this to photo, all right, now when I go back into the menu is actually photo mode right now. And so all the things that has to do with photos are in here, like selecting JPEGs. So I'm no longer having to figure out selecting JPEG or selecting MP4, you know, little things like that. So it simplifies the menu a lot more now that I can select photo or video right here. They're not all mixed in. So if you look at this over here, right now you're trying to figure out what is this 1 up here and what is that 2 up there. You see how file format right now is grayed out on JPEG? Well, because this is in video mode right now, which, how would you know that, right? I mean, I'm on custom 1 right now. It's not like I'm on the video mode right there. Yeah, so it's very confusing. And like I say, it will take you an entire weekend just to figure out the menu system in the old camera. So here you flip over here and you see that, okay, there you go. I have it selected as 4K and so on and so forth. And then here, you know, is all about the photo piece. Well, now you don't have to worry too much about it. If you're on photo, this is gonna show up for you to select JPEG, what kind of image quality and so on and so forth. That has to do with photo. I flip over to video, go back into the menu system. I can see that I have file format and I can pick 4K and so on and so forth. Yep. Everything else has to do with video. It's gonna be on here. So really love that. So in conclusion, I think the comparison between the A7 III and the A7 IV, there are a handful of upgrades that I say is worthwhile, depend on who you are. For me, the upgrade is worthwhile because I have been using the A7 III for a long time and I know all the nooks and crannies about it. So going to the A7 IV, those things that bugs me are now all solved. Those problems are now all solved. And so for me, it's a great upgrade. A7 III is a fine camera, is an awesome camera. But if you have a choice between the two, I would go ahead and upgrade to the A7 IV just because it's gonna last you quite a long time. So you don't want to be stuck with a already probably 5 or 6 years old camera. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it for me right there. I hope you guys find this comparison useful, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.